So, as a leader, how do you make sure the products you're building have some life in them, some soul? How do you keep them from just being forgotten? Well, today we're diving into a framework from the world of architecture that might just be the answer. It comes from the brilliant architect Santiago Calatrava. It's called Frozen Music. And believe me, it could totally change the way you think about design.
Just let that sink in for a second. It was a thing to be used and forgotten. That's a quote from a story about a bridge that was perfectly functional, totally engineered, but also completely soul-crushing. Just a thing you use, and then it's gone from your mind. And that really forces you to ask a tough question, doesn't it? When you look at what your team is building, is it just a thing? Is it heading for that same fate, to be used and then instantly forgotten? And that right there, that's the fundamental problem we're tackling today. In our push for efficiency, for function, we run this huge risk of creating products that just have no spark, no life. We end up building the equivalent of that boring concrete bridge.
It's a trap, really. It's called pure functionalism. It's where our creations get boiled down to just a machine for using. Yeah, they check all the boxes. They meet every requirement, but they don't make any kind of emotional connection. They just don't have a pulse.
So, how in the world do we escape this trap? We need a totally new way of thinking. And that brings us to the framework, inspired by Calatrava's idea of building not as an object, but as a gesture. Look, Frozen Music isn't about making things look pretty. It's about a fundamental shift in perspective. It's about seeing your product not as a noun, but as a verb. It's like you're capturing an action, a movement, a force of nature, and freezing it in a single powerful moment. And this isn't just about copying nature. It's way deeper than that. It's about taking the logic of organic forms and building it right into the bones of your design. You have to ask, what's the underlying structure, the tension, the grace in a natural form, and how can we bake that feeling into what we're creating? Okay, so this sounds great, but how do we actually apply it? Well, the framework gives us this really practical spectrum we can use to evaluate our work and see exactly where it falls. Let's look at the two ends here. On the left, you've got the static object. It's purely functional. It's inert. It's mute. It does its job and says absolutely nothing. But over on the right, you have the living gesture. It's expressive. It's dynamic. It's eloquent. It doesn't just do a job. It communicates something. It has a voice. And this right here is the real ambition of this whole mindset. It's about elevating matter. It's taking the ordinary things of the ground, the stuff we build with, and breathing a quality into them that actually helps people see the world and your product in a totally new light. Okay, so we've got the problem and we've got the framework. Now for the most important part, implementation. How do you, as a leader, actually put this into practice with your team? Here are 3 concrete actions you can take. First, you have to demand more by changing the questions you ask. Go beyond does it work and start asking, does it live? That one change reframes the entire conversation. Second, figure out the gesture of your whole organization. Are you reaching for the future, or are you hunkering down defending your position? That gesture should drive your roadmap. And third, you have to empower your engineers. Let them be artists. See them as more than just problem solvers, because they can bring poetic power to your product. And hey, here's a simple way to measure this. Let's call it the gesture score. Just listen to the language your customers use. Are they using these static, lifeless words like tool, utility, or box? Or are they using dynamic, living verbs? Do they say it unfolds, it invites, or it breathes? The words they pick will tell you everything you need to know about the soul of your product. All right, let's make this super real. We're going to wrap this up with one single, clear action you can take with your team first thing next week. This is it. In your very next product review or strategy session, I want you to put this question on the table. Ask everyone, if our product came to life, what single gesture would it make? Would it reach out? Would it unfold, protect, embrace? This one question cuts through all the noise about features and gets right to the heart, the soul of what your product truly is. So the final thought I want to leave you with is this. As you're leading your teams, as you're shaping your strategies, just ask yourself, are you simply managing the production of static, forgotten objects? Or are you conducting the creation of frozen music?